Welcome again to our awesome listeners. It is our pleasure to come to you again with Global Women Enrichment Podcast. And today is a very special day because we're celebrating our mothers. So at the table today, you will hear from our ladies as we talk about different aspects of motherhood, whether we are mothers or we have a special kind of mother we want to celebrate. But before we do that, let me say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers listening to us. Have a wonderful day tomorrow as you celebrate the most wonderful creation of God. Let me read this little poem I came across that I think is so awesome. It's called Mother's Day. A mother loves right from the start. She holds her baby close to her heart. The bond that grows will never falter. Her love is so strong, it will never alter. A mother gives never-ending love. She never feels that she's given enough. For you, she will always do her best, constantly working. There's no time to rest. A mother is there when things go wrong, a hug and a kiss to help us along. Always there when we need her near, gently wipes our eyes when we shed a tear. So on this day, shower your mother with love. Gifts and presents are nice, but that is not enough. Give your mother a day to have some peace of mind. Be gentle, be good, be helpful, be kind. And that was written by Carol Matthews. Full credit to Carol Matthews. Give your mother a day to have some peace of mind. Be gentle, be good, be helpful, be kind this Mother's Day. So starting right off, I want to talk about moms who can't have children. So that might sound weird. How can I be a mom if I don't have children? Well, the moms who have endured infertility, ladies, I would like to address because it means you may have miscarried and you haven't actually carried your own baby and held that baby, and you maybe have suffered grief for years. You know, when you grow up in the church, you have the feeling that you must have a child. And if you don't have a child, you begin to feel less than, because you see the stories in the scripture that talks about women who couldn't have children and how they felt and how they were treated. And so I am one of those. 1 in 5 women struggle with infertility, and for years I struggled with that. The end of my story has a happy ending, but it took 5 losses to get 2 babies. So I sympathize, I empathize, I understand if you're listening to us today and you feel like you don't like Mother's Day because you don't have a child to hold. That's how my first son was born, actually. I didn't go to Mother's Day Sunday in 1992, and I got a call from the music minister saying, Sandy, you weren't in church today. And I said, I'm kind of tired of coming to church on Mother's Day. I don't have any kids. And, I was 6 years married, or almost 6 years married. And he says, all right, don't worry. Next year this time you'll have a child. Well, let me tell you, next year on Mother's Day, Theodore was in my hands. And that was an awesome moment. God is amazing because he gave me my kids for Mother's Day and my birthday. Incidentally, tomorrow, which is Mother's Day, is my 59th birthday. Can you believe that? I'm still in shock. That's impossible. But Theodore, 30 years ago, was born just in time to celebrate Mother's Day. His birthday was last week, about 2 weeks ago, because you see, Matthew's birthday is on Tuesday before Mother's Day. So this year mimics the year he was born. And again, I had gone through 4 losses, and a patient sat up and told me, "Don't worry, next year this time, you're going to have a baby." And only God could do it, because she told me that on the 4th of May, 2004, and Matthew was born on the 2nd of May, 2005. So he just turned 17 this past week, and it's just unbelievable that I have those kids. And I just want to give a shout out to every mom who is struggling with that and struggling with, "I didn't have a child." I was angry with God for a long, long time. Why not me? And I just want to encourage you that God knows best. And I know that sounds cliche. I didn't like those statements either. But God knows best, and He will give you what He has for you when He chooses to. And if He doesn't, He may have another plan, like maybe you're a mom who has fostered or adopted. And I'm going to ask Angie to talk to you about that.
I'm a pastor, and we see a lot of different kinds of mom figures. Some of them naturally biological, and that's what we first think of when we think about moms. But there are so many women that step up and rise up to the challenge of acting like moms for others. And even those of us who do have our own natural kids, I'm so grateful for the women that have come alongside my own boys and given them pieces of life, of wisdom, of encouragement that I didn't know to give. I didn't have to give. There's a perspective that others can bring to children when they're not your own kids. And so those of you who may not have your own or may have experienced loss, from those of us that have born our own children, we need you. We are grateful for you. And there's a mystery that comes with the disappointment. That might not be my disappointment in life, but I have plenty of disappointment. And there's a mystery in that struggle. The scriptures call this the fellowship of the suffering, that in the suffering, that's when we really develop a capacity to understand joy, that they grow together. So when we let ourselves feel disappointment, name the disappointment, don't deny the disappointment, but step into that unfulfilled expectation and let the Lord meet us there, there is something for us. And that sounds cliche too, but it's so true. And we still have a contribution to make. You still have a contribution to make. So I just want to say thank you, ladies. Whatever role you are playing on this planet, somebody's being impacted by your wisdom, by your encouragement, by your voice. And it may not be your blood, but it certainly is your soul. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Angie. And now I'm going to ask our dear president to share with us her thoughts on motherhood.
I always wanted to be a mom. So when I was blessed with my first child, it was a precious moment. It was then that I realized how much my mom loved us. Because I never knew what real love felt like until I held that little baby in my arms. And then I remember calling my mom, and I'm like, "Mom, I appreciate you. I love you." Because when you see what you have to go through with your own kids from birth, just giving birth is an experience all on its own. And then you have to care for this little person, nourish this little person. And you realize that your mom had to go through this with not 1, 2, 3, 4, so many kids. It gave me a whole nother appreciation for my mom. So I got my first son, and then I said I would want 2 kids. So I got my daughter next, and that was the most beautiful. I said, "Does she have toes and fingers?" And everything is fine. And she was so petite, 5 pounds, 15 ounces. And I was like, oh my God, beautiful. It was the most beautiful day of my life also. And then when she got to about a toddler, about 2, 3 years old, she would, everywhere I go, she's tagging along. She would not leave me alone. So I called my mom, and I'm like, "This child would not leave me alone." She's like, "Really?" She said, "That's good, because that's exactly what you did, what I did to her." I said, "Well, thanks a lot, Mom." Yeah, and then I thought that was it. So one day I was visiting my mother-in-law and and we were all sitting on the bed, and I thought I felt somebody kick me. Kicked me, literally kicked me, and I jumped. I'm like, what was that? It was like, so I'm like, it's no way. I cannot be what I'm thinking, because I was still having my monthly, my menstrual. And I'm like, this is insane. So anyway, so when I came back to Miami, I went immediately to my gynecologist, and he's like, you're already 3.5 months pregnant. Yeah. And I go to the hospital now. First, this was a unique person in my womb, okay? Because the doctor that I started off with, he wasn't really, I had to change doctor because I did not feel a connection, and I have to have, if you're my doctor, whatever, anybody I go to, I have to have a connection with you. Otherwise, I cannot deal with you. So, so I went ahead and I changed, and I think probably around maybe about 5 months, I changed, and I got a lady. Both her and her husband were what do you call the doctors that do obstetricians, right? So I chose her, and she told me your child is going to born April 27th. Okay, so they always give you a date, but it never takes place. It's either a week before, a week after, or something like that. So on April 27th, I was speaking to who is now that said child's godmother. And I'm like, girl, I better get off this phone before you make me laugh out this baby. As soon as I said that, I felt something. And I went in the bathroom. So I had to call my doctor what I saw. So he's like, get to the hospital, right? So I got to the hospital, and this child, this child was giving me a run for my life because the child would not, I was not dilating. It was like stuck or something, right? So needless to say, I had to have a C-section, okay? So they said, Miss Stadman, we are going to have to give you a C-section. And I'm like, okay. So they took me into the operating room, and I'm like, so when are you going to get this child out of me? Because, I mean, it just wasn't happening. They're like, take it easy. It'll be... Anyway, so when I woke up, or when I was waking up, I thought I heard the nurses who were there saying, I have never seen a child with such a big head. And I'm like... I'm like, okay, what is happening here now? What did I get myself into? Okay, so I'm like opening one eye, trying to see this child. And, but because I was so drugged up, what it is, they were saying they have never seen a child with a hairline. He had a deep hairline, a lot of hair on his head. And I thought they were saying he had a big head, right? So anyways, so when I saw that little boy, and that boy was 8 pounds, 11 ounces, the biggest, almost the size of both of my other kids together, right? Okay, so when I saw that little boy, and I held a little boy in my arm, I was like, wow, what a beauty. I'm so grateful. So I had my full family, 2 boys with the girl in the middle. And I have to say, God has blessed me with 3 beautiful, lovely, talented, educated kids. I would not trade motherhood for anything else. It's the best experience that could happen to anyone. And my heart goes out to those who cannot conceive, or those who have struggled in conceiving. My heart goes out to you. But like Sandra and Angie said, everything works together for good, and some of and just like everybody's not here to be married, everybody's not here to be parents. So, but let us uplift those who in their struggles who are trying to be parents, and let us lend us support. And as Angie said, let us be grateful for those who are not birth mothers, but they are in fact still motherly to others.
They come alongside us
Yes.
and help us with ours. And we're so grateful for them. And on that note, Paola, share with us
She got beautiful
your
kids, man.
motherhood.
Beautiful babies.
Beautiful girls.
Beautiful.
Oh, well, I had a late start. Of course, at the beginning, I could not have babies. So I had to go to doctors, infertility, treatment, taking medication, and then doing the temperature like, some of us have to do. Then I had, and then one day, of course, and then I missed my period, and then I started going to doctors, and then I still have until today my little pregnancy. Yes, I still have it. So it was positive, and I was so happy. The whole family was happy. Then with this, I was already 30 when this happened. It was, to me, it was a blessing. It was beautiful. Then I still also have my first sonogram. I have the photo. Oh, yes. And then I kept it. Don't ask me for the other babies after. But the first one.
Yes, let's not talk about that.
Wow.
But the first one, I still have. So then my baby was born in August 1992 when Hurricane
Andrew, yeah.
Yes, I was at the
Hurricane
hospital.
baby.
Yes, I was at the hospital then. And then I gave birth to this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful baby girl. Oh my God, she was like so amazing.
gorgeous.
And then she's still
gorgeous.
and yes. And then that was my life started then because I didn't have a beautiful childhood. I didn't have all those things that, like a mother was, would have given me. I didn't have that. But at that time, I said, definitely, this child is going to be mine. I have to protect her. I have to do everything I can, to be a real mom, a provider to her. And then 2.5 years later, I was blessed with another one. This one, I didn't have to take medication. I didn't have to do anything. It just happened. It was like, wow. Then she was a little trouble. She was different. She would cry all the time. And then people would say, oh, when they say Victoria, the first one, they would say, oh, what a beautiful child, or this, and then talking about, oh my God, what's her name? And then we said, oh, hi.
Oh my goodness, wow.
Hi.
Lisa's
And then,
gorgeous.
Yeah, you should see my children. They are so beautiful. But she had a moment. Then she was like difficult. So I was like, I didn't want any more children. Like, no, don't leave room for anything else. But I was blessed. I was happy with the two. And then I've seen my family members that have so many kids, they couldn't take care of them, for financial reason. So I didn't want to get to that path. And I said, like, 2 would be enough for me to handle and then to manage. So grow up. And then my second child, the other one was, yes, mommy. No, mommy, what do you think, mommy? The other one was a challenge. The second was a challenge. And then sometimes she would be mad and spend days without talking to me. And then I would be so mad at her too because this is not what I wanted. And then we would be in the same house. I said, oh my God, I miss my child. I miss my baby. She lives with me. But I would miss her because I know she was suffering. I know she's not the one that will open up to me. But she was mad. There was something in her that made her so mad. And then, and then she turned 17. She graduated high school. Now she's still with me. She's going to be 27.
Is she still mad?
No. She's still with me. Okay. Beautiful. She's my partner, my companion. The older one went to school, and then in 2010, she stayed in DC. She's having a nice life. She's beautiful. I love her so much. I miss her. I want her to be here, but she's not. She comes as often as she can. But Lisa is home with me, and then she's really that sweet kid, that caring and loving, and both of them, and they're educated, they are self-sufficient, they are independent. I couldn't ask God for a better gift than to have those 2 children with me. And then the family loves them, and then I love you girls, Lisa and Victoria. Of course, mommy can be difficult at the time, but you can say most of the time. But they know I care for them. I love them. Yeah.
Wonderful. There is such joy in having children. And at this table, Angie and I are moms of boys. And then we have Paola, who is mom of girls. And then we have our dear Venoria, who has a boy, then a girl, and then her final baby. And her baby and my firstborn are friends, and that's how we got to know each other. So today we would not be doing honor if we didn't recognize our moms. And so Angie's mom is alive. Paola, as she mentioned, has had a difficult childhood, so her mom wasn't there as she should be. Venoria, last year when we did Mother's Day, her mom was here with us. Unfortunately, her mom passed in this past year, and my mom is here. My mom will be turning 87 this year, and we are all very grateful, ladies, to the women who gave birth to us. They could have chosen not to carry us,
That's true.
but they chose to carry us, and we were given a chance to be a part of this life. And I want to end our conversation shouting out all the moms out there, those who have sons, those who have girls, those who have a mixture, those who have none, those who foster, those who adopt, those who come alongside of us, and we are grateful for our moms. And I want to end our conversation today with this phenomenal thought that God loves us so much, ladies, that he partners with us to continue the species. Every female is a part of God's creative plan. And I am just blown away, amazed, and fascinated that God would somehow collaborate with me and blow breath into these little babies. And they grow up to be these awesome men, whether they're good or bad, whether they're presidents or prisoners. We partner with God for every life to be birthed. And Psalms 139 tells us that none of us are a mistake. Every single one of us, planned by God, ordained by God. The days of our lives are numbered, and we're fearfully and wonderfully made. So tomorrow, as you celebrate your mom, remember, be gentle, be kind, be sweet, be good to her, and let her have a day of peace of mind. Until next week, have a wonderful Mother's Day. Thank you for listening to us. And remember, check us out at gwenrichment.com. Good night.